today we're going to be looking at a small demo of how we can use Odoo for our small company, Nova Trade, and we'll be focusing mainly on manufacturing a product and selling it. So, as you're all familiar, this is the welcome screen for Odoo. Odoo is an app-based ERP. And today we are going to straight away dive into our manufacturing module. So in order to do that, let's quickly go ahead and have a look at what we have set up as prerequisites for this, and then we'll go from there. So under sales, if we look into our products, we are going to specifically be looking at our Ergo Chair Pro V2. So this is a chair that we used to buy and sell, but now we are manufacturing it in-house. And since we are manufacturing it, we can see a few more details here. Specifically, we have a bill of materials that's mentioned here. We have also a special button here which says, which can compute the price from our bill of materials. And I think we can also pay attention to our manufacturing units here. And let's straight away go into our bill of materials and see what all it takes to build one unit of this chair. So we would need a chair base, a seat cushion, an armrest set, and also 5 wheels. That's what makes up this chair. And all of these are also products in our database, and each of them are purchased currently. So we get them from different vendors and we put the chair together. So let's quickly go and create a sale order to sell this chair. So let's say we want to sell 50 chairs to Tech One, right? So we can confirm this. Go ahead. So you can see that Odoo has confirmed the sale order, and while it's done that, it's also generated our sale order, as well as created these smart buttons on top. So we can see we have 1 delivery, 2 manufacturing orders, and 2 purchase orders. So first we will go into the manufacturing and see what has happened. So Odoo has generated 2 manufacturing orders for 30 units each, because the way we've set up our workflow is we would like to manufacture 30 units in one manufacturing order, because that works out the best for our team. So we can see Odoo has already created 2 manufacturing orders, linked it to the source, and we have a start date in 2 days' time, and the components will arrive on today. Now let's go back to our sale order and let's check out the others. Let's go to delivery, see what is it. So if everything goes according to our plan, Odoo expects that we will deliver this product on the 22nd, because we want to keep a buffer. Our deadline is the 23rd, so we want to send out our product one day before so that the customer receives it in time. Now, all this can be configured in our settings, and this is how we've currently set it up. Let's go into purchase and see. So Odoo has picked that we need a few materials for this order, and it has automatically created 2 purchase orders for this product. So before we go ahead to these, let's quickly have a look at one and let's see what item is missing. Okay, we're missing a few casters and wheels. Let's go back to our manufacturing and see. So we can see here we have a few casters and wheels available for the first order, but our seat cushion is expected today. So for a moment, let's go back to our sale order, go back to purchase, and let's confirm both of these so that we can move forward. Confirm both of them. Let's also receive them in our inventory so that we have them in stock. Okay, this is actually the important item that we need, the seat cushion. So we have to make sure that we let Odoo know that we are receiving 60 of these. There we go. So now we have it in inventory. We could go back to the sale order and quickly go into manufacturing, or we could also take on the role of the production manager. Let's say we are the production manager today. Let's go ahead to manufacturing and see how our flow looks. So as soon as we enter, we have a quick overview of all of the work centers that are available to us. We have 2 assembly workstations, 1 quality control workstation, and in packaging delivery workstation. So we will be using all of these workstations for our product today. So let's go back to the bill of materials and see how we are using this. We're going to Ergo chair. We have these components like we saw before. Now, each of these components also have more details to them. We'll come back to that later. For now, let's go into operations. In order to build this one unit of this chair, there are 3 operations that we need to perform. First is the assembly. So we need to connect all of the pieces together, and we estimate that it will take 10 minutes. Next, there will be a quick quality control of each chair, which should take about 3 minutes. And then we have the final packing, which takes about 5 minutes. So in total, this chair will take about 18 minutes if it goes straight through. Now, as we already know from the sale order, we built like 30 units of these at one batch. So that is a good amount to break it into, because if we are building 500 chairs, then we don't want to overcomplicate our stuff with this, and also batching them into units makes it easier to move things around. Now, we also have various other options in case we need to configure it for other products. For example, if we were building something with carpentry, for example, let's say we were building a table from a block of wood. At the end, we might have something remaining, like scrap wood, right? If we have something like that, we could enter it here and then let Odoo know that, okay, when we build a table from a block of wood, we might have scrap wood. Let's say it's a few pieces, or we could set the unit in kgs or etc. But this helps Odoo keep a track of what exactly comes out of building a material. We also have various different options here to configure. So we can choose to start when all the components are available, or we can choose to start when components for the first operation are available. In our case, it doesn't make too much of a difference because all our components are used in the first step anyway, so either option will function the same. However, in cases of a different manufacturing product, this could be more useful to pick. We have the option to consume. For example, if we are using, let's say, one of our, in our case, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't add more beats. But if we choose to, we could, and Odoo will allow it with a warning. We could also choose to block it. We could also just let the staff on the shop floor use how many ever is required. We have the option to enable operational dependencies, and in our case we do, because if we go back, we cannot do quality control until manual assembly is done, because there would be nothing to check if the assembly is not completed. So this operation is blocked by our quality control. And again, without quality control, we are not going to pack it. So without our packing operation is blocked by the structural integrity test. Now, if we go into our manual assembly, here we can also see here that the default duration is 10 minutes. However, the total duration is 12 minutes. So why does Odoo add a few minutes? If we go back into the work center and go into one of the assembly stations, we can see here that this assembly station has a setup time of 1 minute and a cleanup time of 1 minute, which makes it a total of 12 minutes. Once again, these can be configured according to what actually happens on the shop floor. Now that we're here in the work center, we can also look at the options that are available for each work center. So the work centers could have a tag. This is helpful for planning. They could have their own working hours. What times do they operate in? What times can productions be scheduled for these work centers? If there are any alternative work centers, those can be listed here. So if we have a product that is assigned to assembly station A, but assembly station A is already occupied, Odoo will use this field to determine, okay, assembly station B can be used as an alternative for that workload. We expect our time efficiency to be 100%. What this means is the amount of time that is taken for building a certain product matches the amount of time it would take in this machine. If the machine could improve the time, for example, if the machine could do 2 units at the same time, we could put it as 200% here, and then the work center can work at twice the capacity. This would be our overall efficiency, effective efficiency target. So we would like our machine to be fully utilized at least 90% of the time. That is our target. And we can also have a look at this later. If we want to allow only specific employees to operate it, let's say we have a high-end welding machine which requires a license, for example, then we would only want people who are licensed to use it, and we can pick them in the list of our employees here. Now, if we go to product capacities, we could specify how many units of a certain product can be processed at the same time in this workstation. In our assembly workstation, we are limiting it to 1. We could, for example, if this was a carpentry workstation and it could handle multiple units at the same time, we could define it for a specific bill of material and say, okay, you can process 5 units at the same time, and we can also specify setup time and cleanup time for each of those products. But now, if we go back into our work centers, we have 2 assembly stations, 1 quality control lab, and 1 packing and labeling station. And we also have some costs assigned per hour for each of these stations. And Odoo uses these to actually compute the price of the bill of material for us. We can see that it basically sees how much time is used in each station, multiplies it by the cost, and it also adds up the prices of the raw materials with the components that we're using. And that's how we arrive at the price for the bill of material. Now, there is also an option to specify variants. For example, if we had a chair which has different colors seats, we could modify these the bill of material slightly, and let's say only change the seat cushion and use a different color. That way, we can create multiple product variants, but make minimal changes in our thing. Of course, the bill of materials would need to be different for each variant so that we can know exactly which one to follow. But once it's set up, everything is smooth sailing. Now let's go back to our overview page and have a look at our assembly workstations. Right off the bat, we can see that some of them are green and one is red. So we have this work center that is blocked for some reason. So we'll keep that in mind. And let's go ahead and first have a look at our manufacturing orders here. So we have all of our manufacturing orders listed here. We can see that the order that we just created is, let me quickly just check. The order we just created is for Tech Berlin Hub and it is S8. Let's quickly see. Okay, here are the two orders that we've created today, and we can go into each of them and say plan, and it will put it in our schedule. So if we click on plan, we can see that Odoo has scheduled it in the earliest availability, which happens to be 24th of February, but this is not what we want. So let's go ahead and see why Odoo has moved it to 24th. So if we go into planning and then we go to planning by production, we can see that there are a lot of other work orders that are currently in progress, and the earliest Odoo could do was the 24th. So it has moved it there. So let's go back for a second and also plan the other one. So we could also plan it from this view by selecting all the work orders we need planned and clicking on plan. Now, we can see here that so we are specifically looking for 17 and 16. So if we go to planning by production, see here we have 16 over here. And 17 is probably along with it. So we also have the option to view it by work center. If we go into planning by work center, we can also see that each of the manufacturing orders are broken down into work orders and assigned to the relevant assembly or quality control stations. And we have a full schedule for 23rd and 24th. And Odoo automatically has planned this out for us. Of course, we could manually move things around and we could move things forward. We could easily do this by dragging and dropping them. For example, if we say, okay, if we, for example, move this instead of assembly station B to assembly station A, we can do that. Odoo already lets us know that this is over capacity and it has become red. So we could also manually fix it by moving it back to assembly station B. Or for example, if we need this replanned, in our case, we would like to move up our order. We could do that. But first, let's go ahead and fix assembly station A. So my team has just let me know that the assembly station A, which was blocked, is now available. So let's go ahead and unblock this. So now that assembly station A is available, we could go back to planning by work center and we can move some of the elements in here. So let's move here. Let's try this one as well. So now we can see that there are more availabilities that is possible. So let's try to look for our work order for the product that we would like, and then we'll try and move it up. Let's go to 16. Okay, we have some availability tomorrow. Let's try and push that there. So we can see the task has been moved up. Now let's go back to the work center and see how that looks. So we have a conflict here. Maybe we will not be able to finish that. Let's move it over here. Okay. Then let's reschedule this to the next day. And then we have our work center reorganized. Now, if we don't want to do this manually, there is also the other option. We can go back to manufacturing orders. There are a few that are in progress. We would not want to touch that. We can select the rest and we can say unplan. Then if we go into planning, we can see that only the current orders which are in progress are left, and all of the other operations have been unplanned. So now, since things have changed for us and we would like our these two to be priority, we will plan those first, and then we can plan everything else after that. Okay. So now Odoo automatically assigns all of them into blocks that are workable. And then if we go into planning by work center, we can see we once again have a full schedule. But in this schedule, we will be able to achieve our target. Okay. Perfect. Now, let's say we would like to see how these work orders are being processed. So let's look at one of them. We can see that all of the options are available, and this product can now be produced. If we go into work orders, we can see that these tasks are scheduled. The manual assembly is scheduled, and it's in to do. The other tasks are blocked because once this is done, we can move on to the next task. If we go into operations and work orders, we can see all of the work orders that are listed. So we can also see that a few of them are in progress. So let's switch hats now and go into the shop floor app to see how this looks for an employee that is currently in the shop floor. So this app can be accessed on a tablet on the shop floor for ease, and this is how it would look to them. So in my screen, I have added all of the employees, but if we switch into one of them, we can see that Elena is working on assembly station B. Lucas is working in the quality control lab, and this is what they would see on the screen. And Marcus is working in packing and labeling. So for Lucas, this is what he sees on the screen. And when he's done, let's say he finished the quality control, you can just click, and then the timer would stop. So once he's done, you can say, okay, I finished this, and Marcus is done. And then whatever other orders is available for him would pop up here. So if we go into the overview, we can see all of the orders that are currently in progress and available, and then they can pick and start it from here. So let's go ahead and schedule, complete some of these orders. There are a few ways to do it. We could do it in the shop floor app. When they finish, they could complete it there. Or we could also complete it in the manufacturing section. We can see that there are a few warnings as well here. So let's go ahead and see what Odoo is trying to tell us here. So Odoo lets us know that in this particular manufacturing order, the, the sale order which initiated this has now been cancelled. So we don't have a necessity to create these anymore. So in this case, we can go ahead and cancel this manufacturer. Now let's see what other warnings Odoo has for us. Okay, so in our manufacturing workflow, we have a preceding operation that is pending, which means these items are available. However, they have not been brought to the manufacturing shop floor yet. So the items are picked from our stock and they need to reach pre-production in order for the shop floor team to use it. So we could do this in inventory, or if in our case we came in through the smart button here, we could also just validate it here. And now these items which are required to build the chair are now in pre-production. If we go back to manufacturing, we can see that the component status has now become available and work can start. So we could also start it here. The quality control needs to be done by an employee who is assigned to them, and I'm not. So let's go ahead and pick this. You can see Lucas can start this. So let's say Lucas starts it. And from Lucas's perspective, let's say he's done. 10 minutes has passed and he's done. He could say, Mark is done. Now if we go back to our order, we can see that that specific order is now impacting labeling. Let's say Lucas wants to do that. If we go ahead and start that. Let's assume he's finished packing 50 chairs and let's close out that production. So Lucas can also click here and say, okay, it's done. So now we need to generate some serial numbers for these chairs because all our chairs are unique and we would like to track them by serial number. We could If we just give it the starting serial number, Odoo will generate all of them and we can close out that production. Now that is done. If we go into our manufacturing app, you will see that that work order is no longer in to do. So once a work order is completed, we can also see all of the details that were consumed. We can see, okay, where did this get allocated to? So this work order is going to Alps Premium Wood, and it's assigned from within this window. We can also print all of the labels, which can be stuck on the chairs, so that everyone in our delivery team knows that this is for Alps Premium Wood and it belongs to sale order 5, and it will be routed directly. We could also use our smart buttons here to see all of the related items. We can see what serial numbers are assigned to this product and when it was created. We can have a look at the transfers. So these items were brought from outside. They were also picked from stock. We can have product moves that are listed here. Each item that was moved from production to stock is listed here with the serial number. And then we can go ahead and confirm this delivery. You can see the chair is ready and it's ready to be shipped out. It's tomorrow, but let's go ahead and send it out today, and the customer can have an earlier day. Perfect. So that's how simple it is to within Odoo to manufacture the product from just the raw components, collect the sale order, and send out all of the required details to the customer. I think it can't get simpler than that. Now, coming back to our manufacturing app, we have a few more things that can be that we can look at. So, under reporting, we of course have our overall equipment effectiveness. We can see that assembly station A had a downtime due to equipment failure, and the others have been performing well. We recently added an assembly station B since we needed an assembly station while one of the assembly stations are out of order. As we expand, we'll soon be adding more state work centers so that production does not come to a halt. We can also look at our individual work orders and see how long they are taking and what was the expected duration, what is the actual duration, what quantity is done, how much is the cost per hour, how much is the deviation in percentage, how much is the employee cost per hour. All of these can be checked. We can also see how many units are produced in each of these workstations. We go into production analysis. As we have more and more productions, we will see, we have the opportunity to see all of these fields, how much is the expected component cost, the total cost, the quantity demanded, the total employee cost, etc. We also can have a look at this under the bill of materials as well. We can see each work order, how that was performed. We also have a different view here under planning called the master production schedule, which can be helpful for forecasting. So right now our setting is set to day. So we have a forecast for each day, and Odoo can calculate all of these for us. Let's assume that we got an order for the 22nd, and we now know that we have a new demand of 30 chairs on the 22nd. So if we enter that in, Odoo automatically calculates and forecasts an order of 60, and we can directly order it from here. And once that is ordered, if we go back to manufacturing orders, we can see that there is another 60 chairs that are added to our manufacturing units. Let's go back to our master production schedule. Odoo also knows that these Ergo chair need armrests and the relevant components, and it also keeps a track of all of them. And in case we need more, we can also see that, okay, these items are required here, and Odoo will give an option to order it. For example, if we say that we need, for example, 1,000 chairs. Odoo now knows that we don't have that many components in stock, and it now gives an option to order each of them. We also have the option to just select the whole thing and say order, and Odoo will place the orders for all of the relevant things. So this is a huge time saver for us, since we are not wasting any manual time, making sure that all of these are in stock and will arrive on time. Since all of the information is available in Odoo, Odoo is able to handle all of these internally and simplify our workflow so that we can just focus on creating products and Odoo can take care of all of these other tasks. We also have our work schedules that are planned. And in case there are availabilities for each of these, since we are a small company, some of the employees do need to take different responsibilities. So we can see that Elena cannot work in the afternoons on Monday and Tuesday since she has prior appointments. But when we plan the shift, Odoo knows that, and Odoo has taken that into consideration and only assigned the morning shifts on Monday and Tuesday too. And Odoo can also do this with an auto plan feature. We also have the feature to copy previous week's schedule so that it's easy to plan and we can go ahead and publish that. So for now, let's publish the schedule for next week and send it to them. So now all of the employees have their schedules for next week and they can plan their day and work around. So this reduces the stress and forecasting that the employees need to do. And as the shop floor manager, we can, it makes our life easier by having access to all of these and we can fill out everything. So I think we have covered a good amount of questions. We've gone through how easy it is to go from a sale order to a manufacturing order, and from the manufacturing order, splitting it up into different work orders, also ordering the relevant components and making sure when they will come to stock and planning according to that. We saw different planning methods, planning by production, planning by work center, how this looks for the employees on the shop floor and how they can interact with it. We also saw each employee has different roles and they can perform different tasks. And once they are done, they can also close out production or add different components. For example, if we say Elena also has the option to select these things. For example, if a chair is scrapped, let's say at the end of production, they find out that, hey, this chair cannot be shipped as a defect. They can scrap the chair. During production, they can scrap any of the parts. So let's say one of the seat cushions have a stain and it cannot be used. They can scrap the seat cushion. Odoo will offer the option to create a back order for it. And we can also choose to, if we have it in stock, bring it from stock to pre-production and continue our work. We can also add components. They can add byproducts, or they can also update instructions, which could be a note, or it could be an improvement suggestion. We're always open to suggestions from our employees and to improve our overall effectiveness. They can also choose to block the work center for various reasons. They can say, okay, there is equipment failure, and this is now, let's say it's not working. They can block it. And as the shop floor manager, we can then come and have a look, saying, okay, assembly station B is now blocked. And then we can take it forward. So this, I think, completes our quick demo. Do let me know if you have any questions.